If you're moving here, buckle up because you will get all four seasons. And sometimes it'll all be in the same week. In this video, I'll talk through expectations for what each season looks like and how it actually impacts your lifestyle. My name is Morgan Putnam and I am a local realtor. Let's get into it. Thank you so much for stopping by the Omaha Insider YouTube channel. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe, so you're always the first to know what's going on in Omaha. The first season we're going to talk about is winter in Omaha. So it obviously starts in December, but you can really start getting some nice winter weather in November. And sometimes you won't really experience winter until January. Some Decembers, it'll be like 55 degrees on average and super pleasant, sunny, much more like fall. But then some Decembers, the high will be at 25 for the majority of the month, and you can expect snow. So it really depends year to year. With that being said, though, over the last 20 years, for the months of winter, the average temperature was 25 degrees, with the average high being around 36 and the average low being around 19. So that's a pretty average and about what you should plan to expect over the course of winter in Nebraska. But with that being said, every year there's always a week or two, maybe even 3 weeks in January, February, where it is so cold and the temperature, the high is more so around 10. And because those weeks are so cold, they really tend to stand out. And so there is a notion that winter in Nebraska is brutally cold, like in that 10-degree, because it's also very windy in Nebraska. People tend to think, oh my goodness, it is like so cold here. Where in reality, the average high is 26 degrees. There are, of course, those like couple of weeks that are brutal, but then the rest of the time it is fairly pleasant. People can go outside for walks during the majority of the winter. Yes, you definitely need to bundle up, but it is doable. And over the course of winter, the average amount of snowfall that we get in Omaha is 26 inches. So that can really vary year to year. Some years, especially lately, we've only gotten around 10 inches of snow over the course of the entire winter. But then some winters, you'll definitely get closer to that 26, maybe even up to 40 to 50 inches of snow over the course of the entire winter. And oftentimes, because we do get those days that are in the mid 40s that are really sunny, maybe even pushing 50 degrees and it's sunny, there will be full snow melt in between different snows. Obviously, this really impacts lifestyle. It's important to expect and to know that you're going to be needing to shovel snow. And also with that though, is oftentimes when it snows, it might sleet first or like rain some ice, and so it can be really slick underneath. So you also have to be on top of like de-icing your driveway and your sidewalk, just to make sure for safety reasons that people don't slip and fall. And because it does get really cold in the winters, it's really important to think through insulation in your attic. You want to try to save on those utility bills as much as possible. And so that's why sometimes folks will upgrade their windows just to make sure that they are as energy efficient as possible. There are instances where you might get a blizzard or a big ice storm and it will take out the power for a few days. And so obviously this is very dangerous, especially when it's really, really cold. I would say Omaha Public Power District, OPPD, who provides the power for Omaha, does a really good job of trying to get everything up and running as soon as possible. And so it's just important to be prepared and to maybe have some space heaters on hand just to try to make sure your pipes don't freeze, because people can really wind up in a bad situation when pipes freeze and then they tend to burst and then it floods as soon as everything thaws out. So it can be really detrimental to your house. So that's kind of what to expect with winters in Nebraska. And there's a reason why folks tend to try to snowboard as they get older, because they want to avoid being in Nebraska during the cold winter months. Next up, let's talk about spring. So I would say spring is the most volatile month in Omaha. So you can have days where all of a sudden it is very, very warm. And then you can still get like a crazy snow in spring. Like in 2020, we got an insane like 15 or 16 inches of snow in April. That is very unusual. And so that's what I'm talking about with Omaha weather. It can change really quickly in a short amount of time. In the spring, you can go from like really nice, warm, maybe pushing 60, 70 degrees to all of a sudden it's snowing. And so spring is sure to keep you on your toes in Omaha. The average high for spring in Omaha is 64 degrees. The average low is 42 degrees. And the average temperature overall is 53 degrees for this season of spring in Omaha. So really it's pretty pleasant overall if you look at the average. But again, the average is what it is because there's like really hot spells and then really warm spells. Though these shoulder seasons, so spring and fall, tend to be pretty short in Omaha, which is a bummer because it's some of the most pleasant weather that we get here. So you just need to take advantage of the very nice days that we get when it is that like mid 60s, low 70s degrees, and enjoy them while they last. Because sometimes we can have a very short spring where it goes from basically snowing to like 85 degrees and pretty hot. And so when we do have long shoulder seasons, it's just important to try to soak it up as much as you can because they don't necessarily last long. Spring also brings in thunderstorm season, so we can get hail and obviously tornadoes. Tornadoes are not super common. Yes, they do happen. It is not something that you should expect every single year. Hailstorms, I would say it's important to expect them basically every year, not necessarily to the point where they're damaging your house or your car, but they can be. Spring is a great time to set up your garden, but just be prepared for late freezes. Like you really want to wait until Mother's Day to plant, even though a lot of people try to start doing it earlier because we're so excited to be able to get outside. But you can end up kind of killing off all of your plants accidentally if you plant too early. Next up, let's talk about summer. So summers are notoriously very hot in Omaha. But again, this is one of those things similar to winter where we have like those 2 to 3 weeks that are brutal hot, like high 90s, maybe low hundreds, and super humid. But again, that's really just for a couple of weeks. And then the rest of the time, summers can be very pleasant in Omaha, like in that mid 80s. And yes, it is humid, so it's going to feel a little bit hotter than the actual temperature. The feels like is always a little bit hotter, but you're really able to get outside a ton. The mornings tend to be quite a bit cooler than the afternoons. And so people can walk in the mornings and the evenings and get out and enjoy the ability to be able to be outside in the summer months. The average high for summer in Omaha is 85 degrees and the average low is 66, and the average temperature is right around 74, 75 degrees. And so early summer like June, it can still be much more like spring, quite a bit cooler where the highs are in the high 70s. July and August is definitely when you get into that like pretty steady low to mid 80s regularly. And then sometime in August is usually when we'll get those couple of weeks that are just very, very hot. So summers in Nebraska, this is a great time to get outside and to enjoy the weather, whether it's on a lake or in a pool. It's really fun to be by water because it can get really hot, especially in the afternoons. But you just want to take advantage of being able to be outside. I will say that air conditioning is pretty essential in Omaha. Sometimes storm season can drag into summer, so you can still expect some thunderstorms maybe in June, July. They tend to not be quite as volatile as what you're going to see in late spring and early summer. Saving the best for last. Everybody loves fall in Nebraska. This is the best season in general. So obviously everybody thinks, oh, fall weather is coming in September, and it sometimes is, but it's not usually until October, late September, that we'll start getting those like really nice, crisp, cool mornings and the highs in the high 60s. So we have amazing falls. Yes, it is still windy, and yes, the summers do tend to drag on longer than what people expect. The average high is 65, the average low is 44, and the average temperature is 55 degrees. So similar to spring, but trust me, it feels way different. It feels much warmer than it does in spring. Fall's, again, a great time for outdoor activities. It's a great time to prep your house for winter, to clean up your lawn. It's really just a good time to try to do anything that you can outside before we enter into the dark days of winter. And again, in late fall, we might get like random snow or some really cold weather as we transition into winter. But again, I would say that fall is really starting to drag out a little bit longer, which has been really nice because it's the best season in Nebraska, people generally say. So will Omaha weather be a deal breaker or a deal maker for you? Do you love living in a place with truly all 4 seasons? Omaha is perfect for folks who are open and willing to accept all that the seasons bring. If you need mild, year-round, similar temperatures, then Omaha might be a place to reconsider as maybe not the best option for you. But that being said, there is so much to love about living in Nebraska, in a place where you truly get to experience all 4 seasons. If you have any questions about Omaha, feel free to reach out. My name is Morgan Putnam, and I am a local realtor. And my website is www.heymorganputnam.com. And you can also call or text me at 402-720-9886.